Hey there, happy Friday, and it's Good Friday. So I hope you guys are excited to maybe celebrate Easter with family and have great plans. I was just at the grocery store and it was a zoo, but I love seeing like the excitement that people have shopping for those special ingredients for a company or their family. And just got like an idea from my son of what we can have here for Sunday. We're going to have half the people here, put it that way. And so that can change up the meal planning definitely that way too. And no Easter eggs to fill as far as I know. But if that changes, I guess I'll be going to the store again. All right, so let me show you a quick and easy card. I thought, you know, you might not have a lot of time this time of year or even a lot of time to watch a video. So I'm going to put together a quick and easy graduation card because after Easter, then the next thing that we should be focusing on is Mother's Day cards. And yesterday, that was a sympathy card, but that would make a beautiful Mother's Day card. And then after that, all of a sudden we need graduation cards. So let me show you a quick and easy graduation card here. And this is some paper that could easily be as far as oops, there, my screen did something goofy. It didn't flip either, but it also just kind of looked kind of goofy. So this paper, a lot of times people don't notice so much. It's gorgeous. And so when I look at where it comes from the Everyday Happiness 12 by 12 paper. It's so pretty, but when people see this, they don't think, oh, graduation, right? So let me show you what else is in here. So if you've been seeing cards made with this design, I've been seeing it either way. And then the back side has this. And then the other pattern in here, I love this, kind of a pool party, Lost Lagoon combination. And wouldn't that make a gorgeous scrapbook layout? Like for a beach picture, it looks like sand and sea and sky. So the interesting thing about this one, every so often we get these packs, and especially if they coordinate with scrapbooking, which this one does. And so we get 1, 2, 3, 4 times 3 designs. So instead of having your 12 pack be 6 designs, 2 of each, then we're kind of getting double right in the pack from the get-go. And so this is the one that I'm using here. It's just kind of like a wild wheat with some white distress in there and white stars. And then I added my own stars by inking up wild wheat. And then this is the back side of this one today here. So just kind of, oops, broke that open. Just kind of wanted to show you that. I'll put that back later. Hello there, Deb. Hi, Christine and Kathy. Good to see you guys on here. And so the color coordination here is wild wheat, basic black, and then the Everyday Happiness and some white. So I did do a check. I like to check this time of year to see the products that I'm using, like what's retiring, what's not, and I'll give you that guide as we go along, as well as if there's any discounts. I did see that the wild wheat cardstock sold out. And so that kind of surprised me because wild wheat was not a favorite in color. People had a lot of snarky comments about this color, and if you were feeling ill, stay away from wild wheat, you know, type things. And I get that, but because I graduated from Wyndham, it's a great color to put like blue and gold with. So wild wheat and black blueberry bushel were like good school color combinations for me and such too. So I like this. I don't have much left, but you can't get any more. So that's the card base. It is going to be opening up this way. And then the 2 stamp sets that I'm using are Cap and Gown, this one, and this is an online exclusive now, and so that's sticking around as far as I know. I don't see that on the last chance list, so that's good to know. And then the other one, With You in Mind, I'm going to try and grab that. Oops. Stamp sets everywhere. Okay, here it is. with you in mind. I have always at my fingertips the ones that I'm currently working with that don't have all my stamps in there. So with you in mind is a great one also for so many different occasions. And so I took the star from that, and that's where we get the star to make today's card. Otherwise the sentiments are from Cap and Gown. And I did some fun graduation cards with this one last year, and I loved coloring in the hands, like the skin based on like who I was sending the card to, the skin tone colors with our neutral blends. So made the most of that too. But like I said, online exclusive there. And so both of these are carrying over. And now the fun thing that makes this kind of come to life is the Something Fancy dies. And this is retiring, or I should say on the last chance list. And this is what we have here. So some of you got these Something Fancy dies because it has some really nice coordinating stamped word sentiments, and then just some nice frames. So I use this, and then of course the two that I'm using for today's card aren't even in here. So the Something Fancy dies are now marked down to $22.40. So that I want to show you, and otherwise I think I'm just going to get started and then just kind of talk as I go along with the other products. Okay, so let's start with making this a little fancier. And for graduation cards, I like to go pretty simple, because usually we have to make quite a few, right? Unless it's for like a special person, somebody in your family, then you might want to go all out. But I always try and think of what can I make like a stack of these super fast. And so that's always my intention with graduation cards. Hi there, Patty. Thanks for joining in. So I'm going to open up my Wild Wheat ink pad. And another thought behind this card too is I recently did this for a class, and I knew some of the people coming to the class would be from different school districts. And so I wanted to do something that kind of had a neutral tone. So kind of gold and black or even like silver gray, things like that are kind of just celebratory colors and yet kind of neutral within themselves. So I'm just going to kind of stamp out 3 stars here from the Wild Wheat up in the corner, and then 3 kind of spaced out in the opposite corner there. So it's so fun. Sometimes I think we forget to stamp on our designer series paper. And now this can be attached to the next matting. So this piece of paper is cut 3.75 by 5, and I'm putting that on the next layer of basic black, and this is 4 by 5 1/4. And since we have sold out of Wild Wheat, I still use it until you know, for this, because maybe a lot of you still have it because it's an in color that was supposed to be, you know, current for a few more weeks. So if you wanted to just do this as your graduation card, you could just up the increments of your cutting by 1/4 inch instead of doing the extra layer on the Wild Wheat. But that's what I went with. All right, so I'm just going to put this down next here, like so. And there we have it. So just 1/4 steps to make that happen. And then I just took a 1/4 inch strip, so half inch by 4 inches long, basic black. And when I cut down these in like mass production fashion for my class, I had a lot of these strips from cutting that down, because that's kind of what's left over is that 1/2 inch. So it's always kind of fun to have kind of a belly band or that band that goes across. And I love my glass mat, I should say, because then I can just go, okay, I'm going to line that up here. Oops. I'm going to scoot it over so I can see where it lines up on the other side. Sometimes I think I have it centered, and sometimes I think, wow, that's crooked. And sometimes I think, is this more work than what it's worth? There we go. Usually it doesn't bother me. If it's off by a little bit, I usually do pretty well on its own. Okay, so now I'm going to bring over the Something Fancy dies. So these two are both from the same Something Fancy set of dies. Like I said, on the last chance, $22.80. And then what I did is I cut this out basic white. I cut this one out Wild Wheat, and I ran it through with the metal plate 3D embossing folder. That one is marked down from $10 to $8. So I want to let you know that. And I'm going to bring over some basic or some Memento black ink. From the cap and gown, I put congratulations graduate and the diploma scroll on the same stamp, so that way when people are inking it, they don't have to worry about lining that up. I like it for myself, and I feel like that just helps others have success when stamping at a class. So I've got congratulations graduate there. And then I'm going to pull back over some Wild Wheat color with the Stampin' Blends. And I'm just going to fill in that little bit of scroll wrap here with that to kind of coordinate that together like so. And that's all the coloring that I'm going to do with that. Hello there, Tabitha. And now this is ready to get some adhesive on, and I'm going to put that onto that next layer here like so. And yeah, if you like a simple card for graduation so you can make multiples, you could take this layout and then just use whatever school colors that you want to that apply to you as well and have it work out that way, which is great. Okay, now I'm just gonna take about 4 dimensionals to pop up this layer here like so. And then that's ready to just center and go across the top. Now, I wanted a little bit more of a pizzazz pop to this. And so the next thing that I did is, do you guys ever just toss your Wink of Stellas in the garbage when you're done? I do now because I have so many, but I was saving them for so long. So what you can do when they're empty, and you know they're empty when you like go to squeeze them and they just go like that shushing, whooshing noise of there's nothing left in the barrel. But what I've been doing then is unscrewing it again, and you've got this black cover there. And I have in my medicine arsenal this little like skinny little syringe, and it's kind of like a gooseneck or whatever. So I fill this up with water, and then I force it into there to refill it. And then when I put this back on and shake it, make sure you don't put too much water. I've done that before, and as I'm starting to put this on, it'll literally like blast off, and then we have kind of a glitter show everywhere. And then I give it a nice little kind of like squeeze there, and then I flick that over my project. And sometimes it's like, oh boy, that's looking like kind of like a rain shower of something that's a little too much. And I thought that when I was getting ready for my class and did this on my card, I thought, oh, but then as it dries, like anything, it just kind of soaks into the paper. And or you can give it a shake too if you feel like you've got a lot. Another thing I like about my glass mat is I can just go back and just wipe that off too, like so. But you can see this card, I did the same thing, and you can hardly see it on there, but you can see some shimmer and shine across the whole card. I was going to do it just on this, but I kind of liked it over the whole card. And like anything, I realize you might not get the full effect over the camera like you would if you were in person too. So then I want to add some embellishments. On my sample, I used the gold texture adhesive back dots. These are now marked down to $7.20 for a package. And I also laid out some black ones that were retired. And I always like to show different things, even if it's retired, because sometimes that's what you have on hand. You might go, you know what, I have all of this. Do I really need to place an order just for that? And sometimes I say, yes, you do. Because sometimes something's just, you know, too good. And otherwise, like for this, I'm going to say, let's put a couple of the black ones just to see what that looks like on the project here. Whoops, that one. Oh, the adhesive's here. That's why. Okay, I'm going to put that down there. Now it's going to stick. And so I'm going to put kind of 2 larger and then a large and a small. So then you can kind of see the difference of having the black and then the gold. And so the gold's fun because it just all coordinates so well with the wild wheat. And then the black's kind of fun because it just adds a little bit more of a black pop to that as well. So you can kind of decide. This is a matte finish, and this kind of has more of like a clear look to it too. So it kind of maybe coordinates a little bit with the celebratory flicking of that Wink of Stella, which is kind of fun. And then for the inside, I'm just going to finish the card off with the sentiment, all of the hard work was worth it. And great sentiment for graduation. So I'm just going to ink that up in my Memento black ink pad here. And then I'm going to bring back over that wild wheat and the star again that I used to stamp on the Designer Series paper. And I'm just going to put a star on either side. That makes it look kind of fun, and then it coordinates it with the front of the stamp set too. And you know, it's kind of fun where graduation season, some kids send out thank yous, some don't anymore. It's just kind of the way it is. But it's always interesting if we get a thank you, how many kids will say, I love the card, or thank you for not only like the gift or the money, but for the card as well. And like, I don't know if you get that with any other card except for one that you have made. So that's always kind of special that people notice. I know my kids, because I make cards, they noticed that when they graduated. So that's kind of fun too. All right, there you have it. Some inspiration for graduation cards, guys. And like I said, hopefully you can just take this out. I don't know, my screen went black. I was like, did I just turn you guys off when I was turning you around? I don't know. So hopefully you guys can find, like I said, some inspiration just with the layout and take that and go with it for your school colors or something like that. But before we know it, graduation season will be on us. So that's why I thought I want to get ahead of this, because I really love that stamp set cap and gown, and I'm glad that that is also carrying over and will stay in the store, because so many people are like, oh, I need a graduation card, and if they don't see it in the catalog, I'm glad that I can point them to online and that we have it still and haven't had it taken away from us. So have a very good Easter. Enjoy everything, every moment. Make the moments and make them count. And I'll be back again on Monday is my plan to give you some more inspiration. Take care. Bye-bye.